In Genesis, the 12th chapter, God told Abram, "Get thee away from thy country and thy kindred, and go to a land that I will show you." He did not give specific instructions on where that land would be. He just told him to gather up your goods, gather up your peoples, get yourself together, and move, leave. And so, in obedience, Abram did that. However, he took his nephew Lot with him. Probably just trying to be a good uncle, trying to make sure whatever's coming down, I want to make sure my nephew is covered, right? So they go, and after a while, Abram became extremely rich and wealthy as he had been in his former land, but Lot also became extremely wealthy. And it got to a point where there was not enough fertile ground to handle the wealth of both Abram and Lot's crops and their herd to eat, graze, and all of that. So Abram said, "Listen, rather than we argue and fuss and fight, how about you take one region, I'll go the opposite region, and that way both of our flocks and herds will be able to be sustained." So Lot made his choice and went his way with his family and his herd. And so Abram then went the opposite direction and did likewise. Well, it was after he separated from Lot that God said, "Look to the north, the south, the east, and the west, as far as your eyes can see. That is what your children will be, your inheritance, your offspring." He said they will be innumerable. If you can count the sand or the stars, then maybe you could count the number of children you will have that will be blessed. But who can do that? No one can do that. God was letting him know about the rich inheritance and blessing that he had in store for him. But he could not release that word until Abram separated from Lot. Well, why couldn't he give it before? Because God told him, "Get thee away from thy kindred," that's your kinfolk, "and your country, and go to where I'm going to show you." But Abram, God love him, took Lot with him. And so there was a great delay in receiving the word, the blessing, the promise, and all that God intended for Abram. Delay because of disobedience. Let that be an example to you. While our family is wonderful, we love them, our best friends are ride or die, when God tells you to get thee away from, when he tells you to disconnect, when he tells you to let some things go, let some people, places, and things go, let some activities go, let some matters of the heart, let it go, it would be in your best interest to obey swiftly and do what he says, even though you may not fully understand it. Again, there are blessings and promises that God has made to you, but perhaps they have not yet been released because you keep carrying people, places, and things with you when he's trying to bless you so that you can be a blessing and then bless others. That can't happen with other people tagging along who are not part of the assignment that God has for you. You have to let them go. Otherwise, you'll be going round and round and round the same mountain, never get to the promised land that should have only taken the children of Israel 11 days. But it took 40 years because all of the complainers, all of the woe is me, all of the why you take us out of Egypt, at least we had, they had to die off, and they all did. By the time they got to the promised land, it was the new group, the new crew under Joshua's reign and Joshua's rule. So you're asking God, you're waiting on God, you're crying out to God, you're praying and you're fasting, you're sowing, you're doing all of this and things don't seem to be breaking. Could it be? It's because you're carrying too much and don't want to let it go. I understand that, but I'm telling you, children of God, nothing and no one is worth me missing out on the full measure of God's plan and intention for all the hell I done been through. And the people that we hold on to, they weren't there. They were not there. They couldn't help get us out, bail us out, pay the way out, or even just love us unconditionally while we went through it. They were complaining, why are you always going through? It's something you ain't doing. Job's friends, it's something you did wrong or something you ain't doing right. Loose them and let them go. So God then has the freedom to release unto you that which he promised you. That which you've been praying for, laying in wait for, knowing deep down in your soul, he said what he said, and he will make do on his word. But you're going to have to obey and do your part first. Okay? All right. We're stretching. It's uncomfortable, but we are stretching this year. Let's go.